There is a part of you that you have never met. It has been with you since childhood. It remembers everything you have buried, every impulse you suppressed, every version of yourself you decided was unacceptable. Carl Jung called it the shadow, and it is running more of your life than you realize.
Carl Jung was one of the most important psychologists who ever lived, a student of Freud, a founder of analytical psychology, a man who spent his entire career mapping the terrain of the unconscious mind. His most unsettling discovery was this: the parts of ourselves we most refuse to acknowledge, the anger, the envy, the cruelty, the desire, do not disappear when we suppress them. They go underground. They accumulate. They find ways to express themselves without our permission. He called this collection of rejected traits the shadow self. And understanding it may be the most important psychological work you ever do.
The shadow is not evil. That is a common misunderstanding. It is simply the part of your psyche that you decided, at some point in your life, was not safe to show. Perhaps you were told as a child that anger was wrong, so you buried your anger. It did not leave. It became part of your shadow. Perhaps you were praised only for achievement, so you buried your need for rest, for play, for ordinariness. Into the shadow they went. The shadow contains everything the conscious mind rejects, and the contents are not always dark in the traditional sense. Jung believed the shadow also contains positive qualities, creativity, passion, power, that people suppress out of fear of standing out or being judged. He called this the golden shadow. A person who constantly admires boldness in others, but never acts boldly themselves, is likely projecting their golden shadow outward. The first step in shadow work is recognizing this. Everything you strongly react to in other people, positively or negatively, is showing you something about yourself. Jung's formulation: until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. The shadow does not sit quietly. It expresses itself through what psychologists call shadow projection. Here is how it works. You encounter a quality in another person that triggers a disproportionate emotional reaction. Not mild irritation, not passing judgment. An intense, consuming response. Rage, contempt, obsession, or desperate admiration. That intensity is the signal. It means the quality you are reacting to exists in you, either suppressed in your shadow or yearned for in your golden shadow. The person who flies into rage at dishonesty is often suppressing their own capacity for dishonesty. The person who is obsessively critical of others' laziness is often someone who has never allowed themselves to rest. This is uncomfortable to hear. It is meant to be. Jung believed that projection was one of the primary sources of conflict in the world, between individuals, between groups, between nations. Every enemy we create is partly a mirror of what we refuse to see in ourselves. The practical implication is this: the next time someone provokes an unusually strong reaction in you, stop. Ask, what is it about this person that I already recognize, even if I do not want to? That
question is the beginning of shadow work.
The shadow does its most damaging work inside our closest relationships. We tend to choose partners, friends, and enemies who carry our projected shadow material. We fall in love with people who embody what we have suppressed in ourselves. We are unconsciously attracted to our own unlived life. In the early stages, this feels like completion, like finally being whole. But as the relationship deepens, the projection collapses. We begin to see the real person, not our projected image of them. And we feel disappointed, betrayed, angry. Jung observed that this disappointment is not a failure of the relationship. It is an invitation. An invitation to take back what you projected, to own the qualities you were attracted to integrate rather than locate those qualities in someone else. This is why shadow work is so closely tied to relationship health. The more you have integrated your shadow, the less you need other people to carry it for you. You stop falling for your projection. You start seeing people as they actually are.
Shadow work is not comfortable. Jung never claimed it would be. He called the integration of the shadow the most morally demanding psychological task a human being can undertake. But the process is simpler than most people think. Step 1. Notice your strongest reactions to other people, the qualities that provoke intense admiration or intense contempt. Write them down. These are your projections. Step 2. Ask honestly, where does this quality live in me? Not theoretically, specifically. When have I been dishonest? When have I been cruel? When have I wanted what they have? Step 3. Do not judge what you find. The purpose is not to condemn yourself. The purpose is to see yourself completely, shadow and light together. Jung believed that the integrated person, someone who has faced and owned their shadow, becomes significantly more whole, more compassionate, harder to manipulate, less reactive. Because when you know your own darkness, other people's darkness loses its power over you.
Jung once said, "The most dangerous psychological mistake is the projection of the shadow onto others." The most dangerous. Not a minor error. The source of most human conflict, most failed relationships, most self-sabotage. The shadow is not your enemy. It is the part of you that has been waiting the longest to be seen. Look at it. Name it. Own it. That is not weakness. That is the beginning of genuine self-knowledge. Velum. Every day, something new beneath the surface.